Welcome to Weasel Digital, and today we're continuing our build series for ships, and we're going to be looking at the New Republic B-Wing. And this could be a really short video by me just telling you don't fly the B-Wing, but that wouldn't be fulfilling the purpose of this video. Look, folks, I like the B-Wing. I've always enjoyed the B-Wing. I'm a long-time Star Wars fan. I have a schematic of the B-Wing hanging on the wall over here. There's B-Wings on posters over there. If I play the RPGs, I try to get my hands on a B-Wing. I love seeing the B-Wing in Star Wars Rebels. I like the B-Wing. Always have. The B-Wing in this game sucks. It is not a good ship. Anything you can do with the B-Wing, you can do just as well or better with another ship. For the love of God, don't ever fly a B-Wing in dogfights. It's just not worth it. You're not going to do good in that situation. Again, if you're looking for a big sturdy damage dealer, there's other options that are better for that. And sure, I've seen the videos. You can go out there, you can find someone that's had a great game in a B-Wing. Find someone that's got 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 kills with a B-Wing. But you put a pilot of that quality against that same team in any other ship, and they're going to do even better. The B-Wing doesn't give you any major advantage over any other ship. The one area where it does excel is straight up cannon damage. And even then the downsides are too great for you to really make use of that in any needed way. You do a lot of main cannon damage, but that's it, and it's limited. Have I been shot down by B-Wings? Absolutely, I've been shot down by B-Wings. But in that exact same scenario, if that person had been flying anything else, I would have been shot down too. It just so happened I flew in front of a B-Wing who at distance was able to line me up for a shot, which any other ship would have been able to do the same. So altogether, B-Wing is just not a good ship. For fleet battles, it's a horrible ship for dogfights. But you came here for builds, so we're going to give you some builds and try to make the most out of this B-Wing that we can. However, in each build, I'm going to be talking about the flaws too. So the first build is just a basic bomber build. We're going to go with our standard laser cannons. The reason we're going to do that is we're going to be making bombing runs on things that likely have shields, so having additional ion damage is definitely a good thing. The heavy rotary cannon does more hull damage, less ion damage. It has a wind-up time, whereas the regular cannon does not, and it has a higher maneuverability penalty too, which makes it less useful. So I prefer the standard laser cannon for the basic bomber build. We're going to go with our gyro or aux module. This allows us to rotate, which really serves very little purpose. For some people, there's better maneuverability, less likely to hit things, I should say, if you spin it so your fin is, instead of below you, is above you. It makes it a little bit easier to pilot for some people. But really the ability to spin the ship around your cockpit is pointless in this game. It serves no function. But the secondary effect of this module is that it doubles the ammo capacity of your other secondary weapons. or it makes them recharge faster. So if they don't take ammo, then they recharge faster. So double your ammo or half the cooldown reduction. So instead of 5 proton bombs, you get 10 proton bombs. Or instead of a 10-second cooldown on the beam cannon, you get a 5-second cooldown on the beam cannon. So we're going to go with that just so we can double our bombs. And that gives us 10 proton bombs instead of 5. We're going to go with our seeker warheads to keep the missiles off us. Dampener hull to reduce the chances of the enemy locking on. This doubles lock-on time for missiles. We're going to go with our standard deflector. For engines, you could go standard sublight engines, or you could go the unstable sublight engines. The sublight engines, the unstable ones, are there because chances are you're going to die on your attack run. The ship's not fast and maneuverable enough to actually escape an attack run, bombing run, like the Y-Wing or X-Wing can. So your chances are you're going to go down, and you're going to go down while you're near your target. So hopefully you can take another player or with you or do some damage to the capital ship you're attacking. So that's why you can use that sublight engine. Keep in mind, though, that sublight engine that unstable engine, does reduce your hull and max shields, making you severely limited in survivability. Drops you down to 1100 max hull with 320 shields, which is only looking at like a 1440 health. Where if you go with the standard engines, nice, you're gonna have 1440 just in your hull and then 400 extra shields. So it's a trade-off. If you think you can make it to the target with the unstable engines, that's the way I would go. It increases your speed a little bit, so it makes it a little bit easier to get there, and you're going to blow up when they inevitably kill you. If you struggle getting to the ship before you're dead, then go with the regular engines. That'll give you a little more survivability to make that attack run. Now, the fact of the matter is, there's better options for doing attack runs. This is going to give you 10 proton bombs, allowing you to do 11,000 damage. The Y-Wing is only going to carry 5, which is going to give it 5,500 damage, but is going to be able to take a beam cannon, which adds another 3,000 damage to it, which means the difference here is not great. When you realize that the Y-Wing is also going to be able to likely survive its bombing run, or at least make another run with the beam cannon before it blows up, then you realize that the Y-Wing has the potential to put out the same or more damage than the B-Wing. The damage potential of the X-Wing is greater also, simply because it's going to be able to get off more of those missile shots, more attack runs, because it's just better survivability. So you can do bombing runs with this, but you're better off doing bombing runs with something else. Next up is going to be our ion bomber. Now, this thing is built to strip shields using those ion bombs. We're going to go with our standard laser cannon. We're going to go with that gyro so we can double our bomb load, and we're going to go with the ion bombs. Now, the ion bombs are pretty impressive. 4,000 ion damage. You carry 10 with the cockpit twisty mod. You're going to carry 20. So that gives you a potential of 80,000 ion damage, which is pretty impressive. Ion bombs are supposed to work similar to proton bombs, but they actually drop slower. Really what it is that proton bombs drop faster than they should. Ion bombs actually drop at the rate they're described. So you actually have to make longer attack runs, maybe slow down a little bit when you're using the ion bomb attack run. When you're going up against the light cruisers, if you can pull it off, a good thing to do is drop half of them on one and half on the other. But that takes some skill and piloting and whatnot, and some luck in not getting targeted and blown up. For countermeasures, we're going with seeker warheads to take care of missiles. Dampener hull, again, increases lock time, which reduces the amount of missiles you're going to have to deal with. Standard deflector. With this one, again, I might go sublight engine for more health and shields so that I can actually make that bombing run. You're probably going to get blown up near a capital ship, though, so the unstable engines, again, are a viable option. Because of how many bombs you have and how slow they drop with the ion bombs, having more hull and shields might be a better deal. However, that unstable engine does do damage when you blow up, so it's a trade-off. Next up is going to be our shield breaker. We're going to go with the standard laser cannon. Again, that's going to do more ion damage. We're going to take our ion torpedo, which does 24,000 ion damage. Now, with the B-Wing, we actually have 6 shots with that, which is a lot of shots with that. You're going to be able to do close to 150,000 ion damage once you fire all those torpedoes. The chances of you surviving long enough to fire off more than 2 is slim to none. And the chances of you surviving long enough to fire off more than 1 is probably pretty slim. So don't get your hopes up on that. But we do have it. Best use for this is to start that lock on at 1500 and wait until you get under that 600 meter range. But watch your health, fire it before you die for sure. Get that missile off so it has its effect. Our other auxiliary, we're going to use the beam cannon. Now the beam cannon does 3,000 ion damage per second, fires for 3 seconds, so you're going to do 9,000 ion damage, which is a lot of damage to shields also. So again, the goal here is you come in at 1,500 meters, the torpedo starts locking. At 1,000 meters, you start firing off your main cannons and your ion beam, doing 9,000 from the beam, and then all the additional ion damage from your main cannons. When you get close enough to that ship, you fire off your torpedoes, doing another 24,000 ion damage. You can strip shields really fast with this thing. I will admit that it is pretty good at stripping shields. However, the U-Wing is probably better, and the X-Wing is probably better also. Straight up potential, the B-Wing could strip more shields, but it has to live long enough. Being it's a gigantic, slow, prime target for the enemy, the U-Wing and the X-Wings are actually going to survive longer to get more shots in, to do more shield damage. So even though this has greater potential, it's not likely to be able to use that potential. So if you're looking to break shields, I would highly suggest you either go with the U-Wing or the X-Wing, or maybe even, the Y-Wing with ion bombs. The B-Wing wouldn't be my first choice. The next one is one that I've played around with a little bit. It was actually suggested by a follower on the channel. It's the double beam. I call it the Sir Beams a lot. The best use you could have for this thing really is taking on the Raider, either early in the match or whenever you're on defense. This is not a bad ship for going after that Raider. You have the rotary cannon. Now that's going to do less ion damage, but it's going to do more hull damage, which is going to help you take down that Raider faster. You have the beam cannon and the ion beam. So you use that ion beam, do that 9,000 points of ion damage, strip those shields off, hit it with the rotary cannon and the beam cannon, and just keep firing until you blow the thing up. It's fairly effective at that. It's pretty decent at taking that Raider down and taking the shields down, taking the hull out, and getting that advantage for your team. However, once the Raider is down, you really have no other role to fulfill with this ship. It's not good at attacking the other capital ships. It's not good at attacking players. So you're really kind of limited once the Raider is destroyed. I would go with Seeker warheads with this, dampener hull to, stop the missile locks, standard deflector, standard engine. We don't have to be super maneuverable. We're going against the Raider primarily. You could make attacks on other capital ships, but it's not going to be the most effective for that. And last up is another ship that's designed to go after that raider, and actually serves a little bit better attack runs on the other capital ships too. So we're going with our rotary cannon for more hull damage. We're going to go with the ion torpedo, which does that 24,000 ion damage, which is going to strip the shields very quickly. And we're going to go with the proton torpedo for 4,000 damage. Seeker warheads, dampener hull, standard deflector, standard engine. You're going to target that raider early on, either in the first exchange or on defense. You're going to hit them with that ion torpedo to strip their shields. Follow that up with the proton torpedoes and your rotary cannons to do damage to it. Now, again, the one advantage this has over Sir Blast a lot is that you're going to be able to, or Sir Beams a lot, sorry, you're going to be able to get in against those other capital ships. So once you take the raider out and you want to go after those light cruisers, this can strip shields and do damage and hit them with the rotary cannon. So it's competent in that role also. Taking out the raider, this may be the one ship that is preferable for that. However, you have other ships that can do it basically just as well and are more useful once the raider is destroyed anyways. So again, it's a very niche role that really can be fulfilled by other ships. So there's 5 builds. I mean, they are viable builds. They do work. There are better options for each of those builds out there, though. I can't come up with a build that is better for the B-Wing. Part of the problems with the B-Wing is pretty poor selection of engines. It really lacks a lot of survivability for the sublight engine, and the other engines really don't offer it anything you would want to use it for. Shields, the conversion shield sucks. You're going to lose all your ammo very quickly because you have very little shields. The resonant shield, you're never going to keep maxed shields in this thing. You're going to get targeted fast. You're going to get shot down, so the laser charge rate doesn't matter. Nimble deflector adds shield regeneration but lowers your shields. You almost already don't have shields, so lowering them further doesn't help. Hull, really the only good option here is the dampener hull. The others really don't offer you anything that isn't a horrible loss. So there's really no great options down there. And then the other problem is it doesn't have any unique auxiliaries besides the ion beam, which isn't good enough. If some of the weapons were strictly B-Wing only, it would give the B-Wing a role as to carry those specific weapons. Ion torpedo would be a great example. If you could limit the ion torpedo to just the B-Wing, then the B-Wing might serve a purpose. But since so many other ships have access to the ion torpedoes, the B-Wing just meh. Please, please, please don't fly the B-Wing in dogfights. Just don't do it. It's very bad on a lot of maps that have a lot of debris because your gigantic wing is going to catch on things and you're going to get wiped out. It's also very bad maneuverability and can't fix that. So in dogfights, you're going to get smoked a lot of the time. If I'm flying an interceptor or anything else on the Imperial side, I love seeing B-Wings because I can easily get out of their line of fire, sneak up behind them, and shoot them, and there's not a darn thing they can do about it. So just don't fly these in dogfights. If you're going to fly them in fleet battles, make sure it's a very specific role and that you're performing that function. Otherwise, what I would say is stay away from them. They're just not good ships. They're not dependable. They're not useful. Don't fly the B-Wings. Fly something else. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.